All right, what's good, everybody? I just wanted to do a quick recap of Shakur Stevenson defeating Robson Conceicao, all right, by unanimous decision. All right, I was able to watch the entire fight, but I wasn't able to go live because I wasn't home. But I enjoyed the fight. It was a pretty good fight. I liked the different approach from Stevenson. He took a very aggressive approach. You know, he came forward pretty much the entire fight and put a lot of pressure on Robson Conceicao, okay, to win the fight. And he will be going up to 135 in his next fight. We all know that he missed weight. I did make a video yesterday about him missing weight. But he said he was planning on going up to 135 anyway. All right, Robson Conceicao, on the other hand, you know, I did a breakdown of the fight. Even though I respect Conceicao and I really, really respect him for taking this fight because according to the New Jersey Athletic Commission, being that Shakur missed weight and this was a unification match because Shakur holds two titles, Robson could have actually pulled out of the fight and still received his purse without having to actually fight Shakur Stevenson. Instead, what happened is Shakur, I believe, gave him an extra 50,000 in his purse. I think Conceicao was getting paid 250,000, and they upped it up to 300,000. And Conceicao took the fight anyway, even though Shakur came overweight, and even though Conceicao could have taken the purse and just bailed out of the fight, he could have done that. So I salute to him for still taking the fight. Salute to him for being professional and making weight at the same time and giving us a decent effort. You know, he did have some success early in the fight, the first couple of rounds. But if you see my breakdown, we have a very, very good boxer against a great boxer. And I knew that Shakur was going to make it look easy, you know, and it's going to be just like some of the other fighters he's fought that I thought was really good in the past. You know, Joet Gonzalez was a good fighter. Christopher Diaz was a guy that was really looking forward to Shakur fighting at that time. So was Jamel Herring and Oscar Valdez, of course. So all of these fighters were all good fighters. And when they fought other fighters, even in defeat, they all were solid fighters. But when they fought Shakur, it seems like Shakur just dominated them without making it while making it look very easy, you know. So I do appreciate Shakur for giving us the action and just taking a different approach in this fight where he was actually being very aggressive. You know, I mean, he was still displaying some good defense, but he got hit a lot more than we're used to seeing him get hit. And it wasn't bad at all, but it gave us a little bit more action, you know, just seeing him aggressive. He couldn't get the stoppage. He did score a knockdown. I was expecting him to score at least one knockdown, but it wasn't in a way that I thought. I thought one of the check left hooks was going to be able to drop on Conceicao or even the uppercut. But we saw those punches, but Shakur really committed to the body of Conceicao and was able to drop him late, I think in the fourth round. I think it was one of the knockdowns. It was a knockdown that you didn't see it. You didn't really see it until you saw the replay, okay? Because it was at the last second of the round. Conceicao went down, and it looked like it was like a slight delay, you know? So the fight, overall, the first two rounds are the only two rounds that I give to Conceicao. I thought those were swing rounds anyway. So some of you might have given both of those rounds or maybe one of the rounds to Shakur Stevenson. The reason why I gave it to Conceicao is because he was very consistent with the right hand to the midsection. All right, I like that, and a couple of the counters that he caught Stevenson in those rounds as well. Stevenson came out being very aggressive. And I thought coming forward, he was getting hit with a few counters that he normally wouldn't get hit with. But I gave Conceicao those two rounds because I just thought he was just a little bit more consistent. Even though Shakur was being aggressive and he was landing his shots too, I thought Conceicao looked very, very fresh at the time. And he landed some good counters. But after that, it was over. Shakur Stevenson took over in the third round, becoming more aggressive and more effective. Okay, going to the body consistently, giving us a different, all kind of different punches, different angles, different power punches, and he gave us a mixed bag of tricks throughout the whole fight while coming forward. And you can tell as early as the fourth round that Conceicao started to wear down. Like, it started to take his toll a little bit in his body language. You can just tell he started losing balance a little bit. He started to not look as sharp. And you can just tell that the punches landed from Stevenson was really affecting him a bit. After that, I couldn't give any more rounds to Conceicao. Shakur did lose a point because of the throwdowns. All right, there was a few times where Stevenson looked a little bit frustrated because of the tying up and the holding from Conceicao, and Stevenson would throw him to the ground a few times in the fight, but only 1 point was taken. All right, so it was a dominant performance, man, and I really can't say anything. I mean, Shakur won every other round after that. I think Shakur was really trying to get the stoppage. He said even in his post-fight interviews that he just wanted to fight. He didn't really want to just be a defensive fighter. I mean, he's fighting in Newark, and this is his first time, probably in a long time, that he's fought in Newark, in his backyard. The place was packed. All right, the place was you can tell, like, it looked like it was sold out. It looked, or close to it. And I was surprised to find out today or this morning that he received a $3 million purse for this fight. And when I heard that, it's like crazy, because there's a lot of fighters that's out there that you would think have bigger names, because they've been in there with other names and they've been involved with pay-per-views and main events for years. But Shakur Stevenson, it made a lot more money for his purse in his first fight right after beating Oscar Valdez. $3 million is a lot of money. So congratulations to him for the win and his big purse that he received for this fight. It wasn't professional for him to miss weight, but hopefully he gets it right from here on, stay disciplined. And, I know he addressed it a little bit more after the fight was over. He basically said, like, look, I had troubles making weight. He talked about he was pissing orange, and he wasn't able to sweat it out anymore. He lost 12 pounds within 3 days. Well, I still believe that he could have made weight if he didn't, maybe if he had cut down a little sooner or whatever. I don't know. I'm not there. I don't even want to say that. Let me just take that back. But I do feel that, again, if you're going to be at the weight, if you're defending the titles, the right thing to do is always to make weight for anybody. And that goes for any boxer, period. All right. And it's messed up because Robson, who I believe he said he was still a couple pounds over on the morning of the weigh-in, was still able to cut those couple pounds down and still make it. And, he has to be drained, I mean, I think I said this yesterday, like, sometimes they redo the contract and get the weight right, but this is a championship fight. So Shakur has to be under 130 regardless. All right. But, I just thought it would have been fair. Like, listen, if you're not going to make weight and you're not going to make weight, and Robson, is still struggling to make weight on the day of the weigh-in, I think the fair thing, this is why you shouldn't make weight, because a fair thing to do is be equal. Some fighters are always naturally bigger than others. Fundora up at 154, as tall as he is, he's like 6'5", 6'6" tall, and he's able to make 154. I don't know how, but the guy can make the weight. Obviously, he's bigger than everybody at 154, clearly. But if you're making the weight, that's all that matters. Paul Williams, a guy used to go from 147 to 160 easily. if you can make the weight, that's all that matters at the end of the day. Because having that size advantage is great for you. You know, this is why all of these guys, most of these guys are naturally big guys. You got a welterweight that's walking around at 200 pounds. Just make the weight, because that's what you agree to weigh at. This is where you're a champion at, and that goes for everybody. All right. So moving forward, really, all I really have to say for Shakur going to 135, I think he has a great chance of being the best at 135. The reason why I didn't want him to move up to 135 so quickly is because a lot of the fighters there, the top tier fighters, are not fighting each other right now anyway, and B, a few of them are already moving up to 140. You know, so it might be the perfect time for him to move up there anyway, but it also, I don't think he's just gonna jump into the fights we want to see. Devin Haney, he's gonna be fighting Kambosos in a rematch in a couple weeks, a few weeks, and we're all expecting him to fight Lomachenko if Lomachenko beats Ortiz in his next fight. I would really like to see that matchup, just because I want to settle all of the trash talking that we've received from both sides since the franchise title situation. There's a lot of things that's been said between the fans and between the fighters, and at this point, I just really want those two to fight. But if there's a chance that Devin Haney might just go up to 140 after this fight, and if he does, right, because everybody's saying, it's weird, because as much as I want to see as that Lomachenko fight, if this guy can't make 135 anymore after this fight, and he goes up to 140, people are going to say that Devin ducked Loma. But we just had a guy that struggled to make weight at 130, and he couldn't make the weight anymore. And now he came in overweight and missed weight. The goalpost is always going to keep being moved. You know what I'm saying? So if Devin Haney decides that he's going to go to 140 and not fight at 135 anymore because he's claiming that he can't make the weight anymore, and he's been complaining about the weight for several fights now, I would like Lomachenko to fight Shakur Stevenson instead. I would love that. I mean, the fight could be made because they're both top ranked, just like Devin Haney is currently top ranked. All right, so that's my views on that. Shakur said at the end that he's willing to fight everybody. You know, the names were out there. He said he's willing to fight Loma. He wants that fight. We've heard him say it before. He said he was willing to fight Devin Haney. He's willing to fight everyone. I just know that when he said everyone, I've heard him specifically say these names before. I'm talking about Tank. I'm talking about, whoever else is there. I know he wants to fight all of these guys, and I know he wants to be the best. I don't think it was ever really about that. But if Haney is not going to fight Lomachenko, I would like to see Shakur Stevenson fight Vasyl Lomachenko at 135. That'll be great. I want to see that right now. So, look, overall, I just hope Shakur stays focused. I think taken away from this fight, I didn't really see any major issues. He did get clipped a few times, and I think that comes with the territory when you're being so aggressive and not fighting on your back foot like he's used to doing. I think if he really wanted to get the stoppage, I think he needed to throw more combinations. I think those big shots that you landed, if he had maybe followed it up with maybe 2 or 3 more shots, I think he would have been able to hurt Conceicao, or at least maybe drop him more than that, just that one time. I think most of these shots, these big shots he landed that hurt Conceicao, it was just one shot, and then he went back into just being cautious. It's not a bad thing. I do think Shakur has pop, but it's one thing to have pop and have, respectable power where people respect you and just doesn't walk through your power. I think that's fine, but I still don't think he has that real big concussive power where he can just knock out guys. He's getting knockdowns, which is good. It was cool. He knocked down Conceicao. He knocked down Valdez. He was able to stop Jamel Herring. So he is knocking guys down, you know, as he grows. Maybe he is going to be a little bit better at 135, strong at 135 as he keeps improving, keeps gaining the experience, and he's just naturally falling into the proper weight classes as he's continued to grow. So everything is aligning right with him, you know, outside of this weigh-in situation, him being stripped of his 2 titles. I would have loved to see him fight Garcia and Cordina for, you know, more unification matches at 130. But I don't know if he ever, you know, I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. I don't know if Bob tried to make those fights already. I really don't know. All right. But overall, Shakur is one of my favorite, he's one of my favorite boxers, period, right now. But he's definitely my favorite up-and-coming fighter to watch. I would say second is probably Jaron Ennis. But I think he's going to be a future pound-for-pound fighter one day. And just, you know, I just can't wait to see what he can do at 135. All right, but I like the approach in this fight. And I like the fact that he was very aggressive. I'm sorry, I'm very tired. It's late. I am very, very tired. So I think I address everything with Shakur Stevenson. You know, anything at 135, any top tier fighter at 135 is cool. As far as Conceicao, he's still a very good opponent. And, you know, hopefully if he can get a couple wins in, he could be right back in the mix with the top dogs at 130 because he's still a very good fighter at 130. He had a tough fight against Valdez. And I still want to see what else he can do against all the other top guys that's remaining at 130, you know, or some of the guys that would move up from 126. I think Conceicao is not a walk in the park. I just think that Shakur is so elite already that he made it look easy. Okay. So anyway, that's my views. Please, if you are new to the channel, smash that subscribe button, smash that like button as well if you like the content. And I will see you on the next video. Have a good weekend. Take care. Peace.